Welcome everybody to the VMware NSX vExpert solution brief interview series that I'm trying to start. My name is Britton Johnson. I'm a VMware Virtual Cloud Network Solutions Engineer. I cover the healthcare sector, and I have with me today two wonderful gentlemen who are going to help us understand more about VMware, the VMware NSX Advanced Load Balancer, otherwise known as AVI Networks, and what that means for healthcare customers as this is now an option. So Scott Martin, Mike Lonzi, thanks for joining me today.
Glad to be here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, a bit of background on AVI Networks. The NSX Advanced Load Balancer, otherwise we lovingly refer to it as AVI Networks, was acquired by VMware back in 2019. And VMware acquired AVI because ultimately, at the time and even today, AVI Networks was the best out there in delivering, multi-cloud modern load balancing with a software-defined, application architecture. And it really worked well in its, API-driven capabilities and how it can has a natural separation of the control and data planes, very similar to how NSX is deployed. And load balancing is this critical part of application uptime and delivery. And it's more important than ever that load balancers support healthcare systems, from patient-facing applications like Epic or even back-end diagnostic applications. Mike, my real first question for you is, what does it mean that AVI works with Epic?
Yeah, thanks, Britton. So really what that means entails is we work with Epic around all of the different web services that you require to have an Epic system, right? They all require high availability and redundancy, and the way to do that is with load balancing. So what we've done with Epic is kind of walk through what each of those services are, what's required out of them, and does AVI Networks have the features and functionalities to allow you to implement it and load balance the Epic services. So gone through that process with Epic, where what we've done is created a guide that will allow folks to take the guide and start to walk through it and load balance all of the different intricate services that for Epic, including making them globally available through GSLB. So that it's really this meant to be this end-to-end guide for folks to say, hey, I want to load balance Epic. What do I need to do inside of AVI? Now open up the document and pick one of the components you want to load balance and start. You deploy based on the configuration we've set forth for you.
That's interesting. So it's really just a set of instructions that a customer can take and then apply it to their environment, right?
Yes, correct.
Cool. And that's really simple and straightforward. I like how it kind of just, here, take this, do that. I like that approach. So Scott, when in terms of the advanced load balancer and healthcare customers, how does this really help them?
Yeah, that's a great question, Britton. So in my mind, it's threefold, right? Taking a software-defined approach to load balancing basically means you're no longer constricted to an appliance-based approach. Let's say it's you're dealing with some sort of pandemic, like COVID-19 or some other. You have a massive flow of patients coming in the hospital, and all of a sudden you hit that threshold of that appliance, meaning you've already load balanced so many connections per second. Well, you're not gonna be able to take any additional packet flows in, admit any additional patients during that time. So the real beauty of AVI is threefold for healthcare in my mind. First and foremost is this concept of elasticity. So getting back to that scenario I just described earlier, if you hit that threshold where you hit max capacity, we'll spin up additional service engines so that your application never goes down. So that elasticity, what we talk about, is that scalability to expand and contrast as your application needs. So that's first and foremost extremely paramount. The second aspect is around the ease and visibility of day two operations, right? More often than not, in a traditional load balancer sense, we got to do things like packet dumps, we got to look at syslogs, and then try get our engineers together and look at thousands potentially of application flows and try to figure out where the problem may lie. So AVI has this really robust set of tools around day two operations, so I can quickly realize, so maybe we're load balancing Epic, maybe I've got a hyperspace web that's completely constrained and is very slow to response. It'd be nice to be able to tell that and look at that through a dashboard and say, all right, I'm going to quickly spin up another web load balancer or web server so I can add to the load balancing pool and problem solved. And then the third aspect I'll leave it with is that it's Having the software-based approach means you're not constrained in any way, shape, or form to a specific environment. So you can absolutely load balance your virtual machine, your VM infrastructure, as well as your Kubernetes-based infrastructure. If you have workloads in native Azure, in Google, GCP, in AWS, you can load balance that with the same tool and functionality that you currently have as well too. So it gives you that longevity and future proofing, if you will, as well.
All right, let me recap what we've talked about here. So if you're a healthcare provider that runs Epic systems, first of all, go get the guide. It'll be linked on this video or with the video. It's on the AVI Networks page. So number two, AVI provides elastic software-based load balancing for any application that needs it. So not just healthcare-based applications, but any application. But in this context, we're specifically highlighting our capability to support Epic systems in a medical healthcare provider-based scenario. Number three, AVI is also the leader in visibility for the applications that it's servicing. So if you need to troubleshoot what's happening with your applications, AVI, when it's in there, can do that better than anybody else. And then lastly, the multi-cloud capabilities, AVI can go wherever your apps are. So we can cover all the various hyperscaler cloud providers, as well as your own on-premise infrastructure. So to learn more, please reach out to your VMware account team or go to avinetworks.com. We have lots of free webinars and trainings that you can attend on the AVI site. My thanks to Mike and Scott today for talking with me about AVI and helping us learn more about it. And thanks for watching, everybody. And I will do my best to try to make more of these quick little info vExpert clips for you. Have a great day. Thanks.